Good morning, everyone. I hope your day is off to a good start. We are continuing our study through Isaiah this morning, and today we are in Isaiah chapter 27. Yesterday, we very quickly read through chapter 27. It's only 13 verses, and it is yet another of these songs of Isaiah pertaining to the destruction that is forthcoming. This particular one deals with the northern kingdom. Many of his statements have gone toward the southern kingdom of Judah. This one is more towards the northern kingdom of Israel. So we know that it sets in a time before 722 BC, though we really have no idea how far before or in what area he is giving this particular address or writing this particular song. But let me pull out a couple of things from this particular chapter that I find to be valuable lessons to learn. The first one is found in verses 2 through 4, because you have this picture that he paints of the vineyard, and the Lord is the keeper of it. And certainly we recognize that the vineyard that is being discussed is the people of Israel. But he says, I water it every moment, lest any hurt it. I keep it night and day. Fury is not in me. Who would set briars and thorns against me in battle? I would go through them. I would burn them together, or let them take hold of my strength, that he may make peace with me, and he shall make peace with me. The picture that is being painted here is God saying, listen, I take care of you. I've watched over you, and there's no one that I would, allow to just come in and take over. Fury is not in me. So who would set briars and thorns against me in battle? I've only done good for you. I've only helped you. I've only watched over you and taken care of you. And yet, that is exactly what has happened, is the vineyard has turned against the keeper of it, and has rebelled against him and refused to do what he says. There's other passages that talks about them being a wild vineyard and not being able to, or not being willing to remain with the one who has taken care of them. And so you certainly have this picture of an ungrateful Israel who has had God, who has done everything that could be done everything that needed to be done to take care of them, to watch over them, to bless them, to keep them. And yet they have refused to remain with him. You drop down to verse number 9, and he's going to talk about the captivity that's going to take place. And it's the second area that we see that we want to build off of. And that is, he says, therefore by this the iniquity of Jacob will be covered, and this is all the fruit of taking away his sin, when he makes all the stones of the altar like chalk stones that are beaten to dust. Wooden images and incense altars shall not stand. Yet the fortified city will be desolate, the habitation forsaken and left like a wilderness. There the calf will feed, and there it will lie down and consume its branches. The picture that is being painted is that what it's going to take for the iniquity of Jacob, or of the children of Israel, to be covered in this instance, what it's going to take to remove their situation before God, is that they are going to have to destroy all of the idols and all of the images that have been brought together and built up throughout the land. They are going to be destroyed. But in the midst of that destruction and in the midst of that desolation, the fortified cities are also going to go. They are not going to remain either in the midst of this judgment by God. But God says the way that it's going to be fixed is the idols have to be taken away. Certainly the picture that God sends to Israel on a number of occasions is that this relationship that he has with Israel can't be fixed until Israel turns away from her idolatrous ways. And that's again emphasized here in this chapter. The third area that I wanted to mention was in verse number 12. He says, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord will thresh from the channel of the river to the brook of Egypt, and you will be gathered one by one, O you children of Israel. So it shall be in that day, the great trumpet will be blown. They will come who are about to perish in the land of Assyria, and they who are outcasts in the land of Egypt, and shall worship the Lord in the holy mount at Jerusalem. God is going to have justice. God is going to thresh. He is going to harvest, as it were, from the channel of the river to the brook of Egypt, and you will be gathered one by one, children of Israel. They're going to face judgment for what they've done. But, it's also going to be the case that with what God is doing, there are going to be those who are going to come from Assyria and Egypt and so forth, and they're actually going to worship God in Jerusalem. And they are going to be ones who are going to respond to the punishment that is going to be brought forth. The picture of those who are about to perish in the land of Assyria, that's those who are of the children of Israel. Those who are outcasts in the land of Egypt are those who fled to Egypt in order to flee the Assyrians, as far as that goes. He says they will remember me and they will return to me. God says he's not going to lose everyone. There are going to be those who are going to pay attention and who are going to return to him. So those are some of the things that I have pulled out of chapter 27. I'll be interested to see some of the things that you found or that you see in this particular chapter. But I hope that you have a great day, and we will come back tomorrow and examine chapter 28. Have a good one.